having covered pretty much my whole loadout for this adventure, which I will say loaded down with water, pistol, everything like that, probably just over 20 pounds, which isn't too bad. Granted, 30 miles later, you might reconsider whether that 20 pounds is bad or not, but it was absolutely an awesome adventure. We stepped off, I want to say, right around 5 in the evening maybe, and yeah, got after it. Started heading up. The whole first part of the hike, you're just gaining elevation. And we ended up getting up to a ridgeline, pretty much following that. Eventually, we lost the light. Before that though, incredible, like beautiful sunset. Could see all the way, we were over on, I guess, the Montana side of the border, and you could see all the way over to Lake Pend Oreille over in Idaho. It's incredible. And we just kept cruising, hiking off into the night. And finally we got to where it's like, you know what, let's go ahead and camp here. We had hiked in right around 9.5, 10 miles that first night. And we stopped, set up camp, crashed out under the stars. Woke up that next morning, actually pretty rested. I think I slept till, I think we stopped hiking maybe around, I want to say 10:30 that night, Friday night. Woke up, well, made camp, whatnot, and then woke up, I think finally around like 7 a.m. or something, which it was definitely super bright by then. I mean, up north, especially during the summer, the sun will come up before 5, but yeah, slept until about 7. Packed up camp, had a little bit of coffee, and started going. We then had, it was basically out and back, so that we then covered another about 6 miles or so, slight detour at one point, and came along, again, some just incredible ridge lines. Beautiful, beautiful area. Finally dropped down to this incredible lake, and it was like, cool, like this is the turnaround, which from the start of the trail to there was approximately 15 miles. And so we got there, I want to say, kind of midday, or a little before midday maybe. And then I was like, you know what, we've just been moving, and which is fine, but I'm gonna go on some sort of backpacking trip adventure. Like, I wanna do something fun. Like, you're not gonna hike all the way to a lake and not swim, right? Ended up stripping all the way down, and Bill, he's like, I'm not gonna let you swim across there by yourself. And so we hopped in the water and we swam all the way to the other side, and then eventually back. Mind you, over off to the side, there's like a big snowpack that's still there, even like that late into July. So the water was cold, but got back, dried off, had some food. By food, I mean another Snickers bar. And yeah, loaded up our packs and started heading back. From there, that was basically the big push, because we'd came 5 or 6 miles down to the lake, that being the turnaround point. And we had another 15 in front of us. And we just took turns kind of leading, setting the pace. And we moved, we ate up those miles. Grind, grind, grind until we ultimately finally got back there. Basically what it came down to was 30, I think about just shy of like 31 miles over the course of 26 hours, all said and done. I ended up using this Coros Vertex watch, which is a GPS, and it's pretty cool. It's able to pull all the data. To that end, this is basically what it looks like. Right here is the map breakdown of that first night of hiking, where we covered like just under 10 miles. I ended up starting my watch a tiny bit late. And then this image right here is basically the second leg, or the first leg of the second day, where we actually made it down to the lake. And then finally, from the lake, pretty much all the way back to the vehicle. I will say that next day or two, it's kind of limping around a little bit. I definitely haven't covered that many miles in that short of time period for quite a while. Would I do it again? Absolutely. It's really good to actually get out and challenge yourself on just different levels, to include yeah, like going on essentially a forced march. Like, I'm not gonna call that a backpacking trip. It's basically a training evolution, but it was good. We moved further than I probably would have done by myself, and absolutely at a faster pace. I usually move relatively slow because I'm dragging a bunch of camera gear and stuff like that, and I'll stop to film, whatever. Don't usually move that fast. And it was really good, absolutely pushed me out of like kind of that comfort zone. And it's great to be able to actually challenge yourself with things like this, things that push you out of where you usually operate. And to that end, it was also just kind of a yardstick too. I spend time in the gym doing different stuff, and largely I spend that time in the gym not because I want to be good at exercising, but because I want to be able to do whatever I want and not have my physical fitness inhibit things that I want to do. So when Bill called up and was like, hey, do you want to go do this 30 miler? I was like, sure. I knew I could do it. I didn't think I was going to like sprint it or I was going to do an amazing job with it, but I was like, you know what? That's probably within the threshold of my capacity. Like, yeah, like I would appreciate the opportunity to come out and yeah, go for that. And I did just that. It was a lot of fun. I definitely appreciate getting out and going exploring, seeing new places, like just incredible place. And being able to share it with people too is always fun. As much as I like solo trips, going with friends, really enjoyable as well. So that ultimately is my 30 miler I did and my loadout for it. Really good time out there. Hopefully if you're gonna go on something like this, maybe some of this stuff's applicable as far as the gear that I chose. Let me know how it works out for you. And if you like my content and want to support it, greatly appreciate it. Whether it's liking and sharing videos or going over to kitbadger.com, buying stickers, patches, maybe access to the Badger Den, or supporting me on Patreon. Not to mention picking up some sweet t-shirts, as I mispronounce things, over at Teespring. They have some cool stuff to include the Gray Death Adder shirts. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.